There we are. Hello. Welcome everyone to episode 5 of our endless podcast. We're getting on a bit. Obviously, I've not been here for all of them, but you know.
And do you know, if you told me we was going to have an episode 5 a few weeks ago, I wouldn't have believed you.
If you told me that a few weeks ago, I would have just laughed in your face. This was just a 2-episode pity podcast for you to stop you asking. But no, it's been quite fun so far, so we'll keep it up.
And we're just growing exponentially at the moment.
Well, yeah, we've got 20 views on a video.
20 views? What are you going to do with all the money?
Right.
We could probably make $1 million off the dirty panties we could sell. All the ones that we get sent.
I'm not selling mine.
So, the fights.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's rock and roll. The fights. Oh my days. There were some good fights as well.
Yeah, we'll start off with
Should we start with the main event?
Yeah, main event actually. I was going to say start with Tom, but we'll start with the main one.
Tom's my main event, you see. So I'd rather watch them go on about the one that and build up to the best one.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So, who do we have? Blaydes and Lewis. So first off, who gets the 20p?
Well, me, because you bet Blaydes, and then I said I'll go against it.
Who deserves the 20p?
Still me.
Right. So obviously,
because I took a risk. Because I thought I actually thought Blaydes were going to win. To be honest with you, and to be fair, he was winning.
Literally
up until he went night.
Yeah, and this is where it goes back to what we were saying in the last pod about heavyweight. The fact that one punch can change the game like that, when it was literally Blaydes was all over him, and it was, what was it like? Lewis was just constantly on the back foot. His defense, he wasn't coming in. He was only countering, and because that's all he needs to do. Fair play to him. I didn't even see the uppercut that really ended it. I was just watching, and then Blaydes went in for a hug, and then was lying down asleep.
That was such a good shot as well, and he was just looking for that one shot all the way through the fight, wasn't he? Basically, he's got so much confidence.
Yeah, but I think Blaydes was doing quite good throughout the fight. I think, up until he lost, I was quite comfortable saying that he was going to win the fight. He was dominating it the whole time.
He was mixing it up well. He was threatening the fucking takedown, which got his striking to really pay off as well. It's just not got that knockout power, and then you come across someone that has got knockout power, and then boom.
Yeah. It just, as soon as they get the gap and they get through, he didn't need to do much. Obviously, I think from watching it, I think Lewis was a bit, obviously not scared, it's not the right word for it, but he was definitely on edge and tentative to actually go in and do anything. You could see when Blaydes was getting those leg kicks in, he actually knocked him off balance, arms up in the air, falling sort of thing. You could definitely tell that Lewis was wary of it.
What do you think of the eye poke? Or the eye scrape, as it were?
I think it was unintentional. I don't think it was intentional.
I don't know, because he chucked a fucking open hand slap at him.
I didn't see it too closely when I was watching, but because I thought at that point it was coming to the end of the round, wasn't it? It was only a few seconds left. I thought Curtis was going to be going in for the finish there, and he got an eye poke, and then obviously that split him up. So
you think it worked not in his favour?
Yeah, I don't think in that moment. Yeah, there was no need for him to do it because he was so dominant in that round. Throughout, he was on top of it. I think it was probably the worst thing that could have happened because he was basically had Lewis turning away from him almost, and he was coming in for a finish.
To be fair, he got the he did walk off. He did acknowledge it and say, "My bad, I didn't need to do it," didn't he? He did walk off with it, so yeah.
He said sorry and everything, so it's I don't think he would have gone for that. I feel like dirty tactics like that are the ones you use as a last resort when you're losing, something to catch your breath sort of thing. But no, I think that actually helped Lewis quite a bit, to the point where he could have even milked that out to get some time to catch his breath and break it up. I don't know. First round, I don't really think he'd be that out of breath. He didn't really do much either. He just took a bit of a beating.
Yeah, he was just looking for that.
Ground.
He's just such a gorilla, isn't he? He's just looking for that one, and he's got so much confidence. Yeah. He knows he's powerful. He knows he only needs one shot, and it's going to take someone. What's his record saying? He has been beat though, hasn't he, Lewis?
Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember off the top of my head now. I'd have to look back, but I don't think there was much between them. I thought they were. Actually, hang on. Give me like 2 seconds.
I just realised something. 1 sec. This is where you can call me names now, and I won't be able to. Sorry about that. I needed to adjust the lighting. I just realised I left my camper light on, which would, if I left it, it would have drained my battery within a few hours. So I'm gonna put my power pack light on.
Fair enough. Well, back to what you're asking. Lewis before that fight was 24 wins to 7 losses, and Curtis was 14-2. So he had quite a lot more experience in the ring than Curtis. Did you hear what the refs were saying about Lewis, how he can kind of act the injured sort of thing? And then,
what the commentators were saying. He can play possum sort of, so to speak. So he pretends he's hurt, so the other person rushes in to finish the fight, and then he catches him, making a mistake.
I think that's quite a bold tactic if that's what he does, because that means that you're literally letting them hit you, and you're confident in the fact that you can take a punch from a fellow heavyweight, which isn't something that's going to be a light one.
Well, there was that. Do you know? I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the fighters, but there was two fight. There was a fight happening, and one guy was playing possum. He was still blocking, like someone threw a head kick. He blocked it like that, but then he was like, acting all like drunken monkey.
Yeah.
And the ref stopped it. The ref thought he was actually hurt, stopped the fight.
Oh, I didn't think a ref would stop a fight just because the wobbling stood up.
Oh, well, the ref deemed it, his acting must have been a bit too good.
Yeah. Well,
but he was still blocking, though. It was a bad call, really, because the ref's got to step in if the guy's not blocking. The guy was blocking, so it doesn't make sense.
No, it goes to show though, you should stick to the sport. You don't. There's no point acting in the ring. It's not football. It's not a foul where you have to pretend that you've snapped your ankle until you get your free kick.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, it's tactical.
But if you can draw somebody in, if you're a counter puncher and you need them to attack you to get you countering, if you can draw somebody in because they think you're. Do you know what I mean? It does make sense. It does make sense in a way. Yeah. It's like a trick to play to your strength. I suppose you can only pull it off once as well, really. Otherwise, then everybody knows it.
I don't know how I feel about it. It feels a bit like dirty play. I know it's not because it's whatever goes.
Yeah, I was going to say all's fair in love and war.
Yeah, I think, but because it's a sport and it's not,
but it's a combat sport, and you gotta.
Yeah, no, but that's I think that playing around like you're injured and stuff, it just seems a bit of a
unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, I'd say so. The same way as jabbing them in the eyes or kicking them where it hurts. You just obviously that's ruled against anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit. I don't want to say as harsh a word as pathetic, but to go. If you're not confident enough to be able to stand strong and fight him.
Well, yeah, but it's like mind games, isn't it? What do you think of when fighters? I know we're going off topic again, but that's just us, isn't it?
To a T.
Proper like ADHD us too. So, what do you think like at the start of fight, they touch gloves, they go back to the respective corners, the ref says fight, and then they come up and touch gloves again. What do you think to the ones that go to touch gloves and then like do a move?
I think again that's just unsportsman. It's fully allowed, and when you're touching those gloves, you need to make sure you're not up against someone that is going to do that. So you need to have that element of trust and stuff. But no, I think it's a bit sad for when they're meant to be professionals, and if the only way that they can get a punch in is by tricking the opponent like that, it's not. It doesn't make the sport good.
I kind of agree, but like you say, it's the rule. The rules are the rules. If you've got someone, you touch gloves. I feel like they do a bit too much touching gloves. You know what I mean? The ref says touch gloves if you want. You touch gloves. You go back to your corners. You come back out and fight. That's what it should be. So when they come up and they're like, "Oh, let's touch gloves again," it's a bit,
Yeah, but then everyone does it. It's like an unwritten rule.
Not everyone does it though.
Well, if there's bad blood between them, they don't.
Yeah.
You see that in some fights when there's been a lot of heated sort of interactions on, before the fight, they don't tend to touch gloves. Or you always get one that puts their fist out and the other one that just ignores it. But, I think
Ronda Rousey was famous for that. She never used to touch gloves at all.
Yeah, it can be part of like a head game as well. Like you've got to get yourself in the zone, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't want to be thinking about respecting that other person when you're in that ring for those 5 minutes or however long it is you're fighting them. They're just your one enemy that you just want to kill.
So what do you think of trash talking then? Because this is spinning off. You don't agree with people acting hurt more than what they are to get the other person on. So if you don't agree with that, and you obviously you think that's unsportsmanlike, the touching after the bell.
Yeah.
What do you think of trash talking?
Trash talking, I think half the time is just money making ploys. I think.
No, when they're doing it. What about when they're doing it during?
During the. I thought you meant before.
The actual fight.
I was going to say before. It just seems like a way to build revenue. To get the anticipation going. But during the fight, again, there's no need for it if it's just a fight. But they'll do it. They want to get in the other person's head. That's part of the mind game. I think that's different to, not showing the respect of touching the gloves or hitting them whilst you're trying to do that, because that's just like pathetic. But then, fight talk. If you're gonna have to do it, if you want to trash them while you're going, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I'd keep my head in the game. I wouldn't be looking to attack them mentally like that. That's not what the sport is in that sense.
See, one of my favourite fighters was Nick Diaz, and he loved to trash talk, and I'll always remember his fight with Robbie Lawler. And like, as soon as he got into the cage, he's like pacing up and down and that, and he's going, "Stockton, motherfucker, Stockton!" And fucking Robbie Lawler, who's fighting. This is when Robbie Lawler had hair as well, and he's like, was looking, he's like, "What the fuck's up with this guy?" And he's fucking going. What he's trying to do is get them out their game plan. And implement his. So if he can make them angry to the point where they forget their game plan.
Yeah, it's smart, I guess. I think it has its place, but I guess I'm comparing it to if I was a professional fighter and I was doing it, I wouldn't be using that route, I don't think. I don't know about you.
But it was so funny though, and he's got so much energy levels, and he's like popping. He's like, "What bitch? What bitch? You're gonna hit me, bitch? Poof, what bitch? Oh, I just got you, bitch!" And then they've got that slap as well. He slaps his opponent. Him and Nate do this. They call it the Stockton slap, and they slap their opponent. So it's like, I could have punched you, but I just wasted the opportunity and slapped you like a bitch.
What do you think of the guys that do the gloating, dancing around and stuff? What do you think of that? I love the videos where you see it and then they just get sparked out whilst they're dancing. The karma, I love it.
Yeah, I do. And it's happened a few times. It happened to. I'm sure it's happened to Anderson Silva. I'm sure he was, not taking the fight serious, and I think he got knocked out.
I've seen one. I can't recall which one it was exactly, but it was like they started doing like a TikTok dance, and
then he got whacked.
Yeah, he was just asleep.
Was that in Bellator? That one?
I'm not sure.
Was it on Facebook? Did you see it on Facebook or something?
Naturally, yeah. Scrolling through Facebook. One of the funny videos that comes up.
He starts doing a dancing, and the guy just throws a kick and knocks him out.
Yeah.
I know which one it is. I don't know the fighters or the fight, but I know I have seen that getting about on the Facebook.
Yeah, but what do you think of the dancing and that sort of showboating?
See, I kind of like it, but if it pays off, it's a risk, isn't it? You're doing it as a risk.
Yeah.
I do kind of like it. I do like when Max Holloway was showboating and talking to the commentators and stuff while dodging punches, not even looking at his opponent. And do you know why he calls himself he started calling himself to the commentators the best boxer in UFC? It's because the guy that he was fighting called himself. He took that thing. He used that Cutter, is it?
I can't remember.
Can't remember his name either. He's a bit of a, he was calling himself the best boxer in UFC.
Oh, so he was just mimicking.
Yeah, so that's why Max was like, bam, bam, just he had such a dominant performance, outpunched him, outstruck him in every way possible, and that's why he was like, I'm the best boxer of UFC. And then Dustin Poirier, after he beat Conor, he turned around and was like, yeah, Max is calling himself the best boxer in UFC now, but I beat him twice.
So what's that make me?
But to be fair, just because you beat him doesn't mean you're the best boxer. Because he didn't beat him with strikes and stuff. He did, he wrestled him to the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can still win without throwing a punch. It doesn't, just because you beat the best boxer doesn't mean you are the best boxer. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, because there's a lot of elements to a fight, isn't there? It's not just one. It's not just boxing. It's not just grappling. As we were saying last time, actually.
Speaking of lots of elements to the fight, not just boxing. That beautifully, poetically brings us over to Tom Aspinall.
It does. I think we've got to just start by saying that it was a top performance, 100%. It was his from the offset. What were your thoughts on it as a whole?
I think it was like he had that flurry of like 20 odd punches, didn't he, at one point? And I think if it like the commentator said, I think if he went to the head a bit more, he could have finished him. But he went to the body and stuff, probably to tire him out. And probably that's where the opening was. You know what it's like when you're in the heat at the moment. And then he stopped. Did you notice how he slowed down after that? And I was worried. I thought, oh my days, I hope it's not a stamina problem, conditioning problem. But he said in his in his post conference thing, he says he just wanted to slow down. He wanted to get the rounds, and he wanted to see the second round. So he slowed down and he just held him against the cage and stuff like that. And yeah, he definitely won the first round anyway, didn't he?
Yeah, he was all over the guy, wasn't he?
Like what Michael Bisping was saying, he was turning around saying, if you're used to unloading them 25 punches and and that's it, the game's over, but then the game's not over. I wonder if that has a psychological effect on you. As if to say, oh my days, I've just done all that and he's still there in front of me, coming towards me.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. So obviously he's notorious at the minute for going in first round, heavy punches, taking him out, stood up. And I'm wondering if his game plan is to go in with that, and if someone's still standing afterwards, second round, resort to his background from his dad's jiu-jitsu Andy. He goes in there, takes him down. So obviously he's done a very dominant standing up. The last thing that the opponent's going to expect is for the next round to be going straight to the floor, and it paid
It
off.
was a
So
good double like that, though, wasn't it? He proper charged it, didn't he?
yeah, he did. He took him down. So it was like the first round he threw the punches, like, right, these punches aren't going to knock him out. So I'll just do what I know best. And took him down, got behind him like a little snake, and then he was done.
That's what I mean. He didn't even have to get his hooks in, didn't he? He had that straight away tight while it was only one arm, and then as soon as he locked it up with the second arm, see how quick he tapped.
Yeah, I imagine heavyweight don't experience it a lot. I'm sure they train it. I'm sure everyone trains groundwork, so they've got to if they're going to go in a ring, but it's not something that you'd expect two big guys to be doing. So, anyone over like 6'4", you wouldn't be expecting them to be taking it to the ground when they've got such a good reach and everything like that, and so much weight behind the punch.
Well, is jiu-jitsu just next level?
Yeah.
You saw it in his last fight, where he took him down. He took him to the ground then you watched him work his body up, got into the mount, and then instead of he just hammered the fist down then from that position, and that's how he won that one. Yeah. See him do the shout out though, Andy Aspinall Jiu-Jitsu, baby.
Yeah.
Shout out to his dad's jiu-jitsu. And his dad is the best teacher. I've like I said, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. But just I'll say it again for those only listening to this one. I've had a few jiu-jitsu coaches and Brazilian jiu-jitsu coaches, and Andy Aspinall's jiu-jitsu is just by far the most next level. It's the detail of each of what he gives from each position is just, do you know what I mean? You can if you do it wrong the slightest way, he can tell you exactly why, how, and which way to do it in a way you can understand it, and that makes the difference. You know what I mean? All these little things.
Yeah. Whereabouts is he based for the? Is it St. Helens or?
Well, before lockdown, this is what I mean. Lockdown's messed it all up, really. I used to go to his class. Let's say shout out to my other friend, Adam, at St. Helens.
Hang on, you have another friend?
Shout out Adam, St. Helens Martial Arts and Fitness Studio, St. Helens, and Andy Aspinall used to teach a class there on a Monday evening.
Oh, so that's how you kind of found out about him?
Yeah. And then he teaches, that Caborn place where they all train, all the UFC fighters train in Liverpool. He teaches there on a Tuesday, and then he taught in Goulburn on a Tuesday afternoon, a later Tuesday. A later Tuesday after the Liverpool one.
I know what you mean.
But that place got burnt down now. It got burnt down in the during the lockdown.
Can't have anything nice, can you?
Where did he go Wednesday? He had a place, I think he was in Bolton Wednesday, back in Liverpool Thursday, and he taught in Wigan on a Friday. Tom had a class. Well, I think Mike Grundy. He taught at his gym. So Tom taught a no-gi class for an hour, and then straight after it goes into a gi class, which Andy taught, his dad taught. So
makes sense to be that way around. So at least you're not too sweaty in the first one, and then you could
pay it was really reasonably priced as well. You could pay a tenner and do both classes.
It wouldn't surprise me if that sort of price starts to go up as Tom's career excels, because I think, as he was saying, he was being moderate with his next fight. He wasn't saying he wants to go straight for the the main event guys, which I think is the best way for him to go. He doesn't need to start jumping all the way to the top. He needs to build his bases, as he was saying.
Well, he knows he wants more experience, doesn't he? Because he missed out because he couldn't get matched up in amateur because of nobody would match up with him. So therefore, he lost. He had to turn pro. So he lost out on all that amateur. He lost out on all them amateur fights that he would have got if he had people that could compete with him.
Yeah.
And now he's in the UFC. It's he just wants he just wants to take it slow, go up each ladder. He doesn't need to skip any. Just go up each ladder. He's got a long career ahead of him. By the time he's like 30 or something, 31, he could be a champion. He'll probably be a world champion.
Yeah, he's going in the right direction for it. Obviously, I've not seen his losses though, to be fair, or who they were against. Were they early on? I think he had like 2 losses.
Yeah, he's got 2 losses on his record. It must have been early on. It was before UFC. He's not lost in the UFC yet. His UFC career is 3-0.
Yeah, so he's going well with it, isn't he? Who do you think he'll be taking on next from the heavyweight? I think he was saying he wanted to go against one of the other heavyweights that were fighting that night. So you've got.
Yeah, he wants the winner of. There was about 4 heavyweight fights that night, weren't there? Last night.
Yeah, I'm really bad with names, but you had is it Arlovski and Chris Daukus?
Who won?
I don't know. We didn't.
No, he tells you.
I'm looking at the pictures from what you sent me. I'm not googling. Oh, you can Google now. You've got your laptop.
Well, you can. And I've got my phone as well. I might as well just jib on me, have a quick look on the phone. In fact, I don't want that one to mess up my hotspot, so I'll go on this one. So, because he's fighting, people that are not main eventers, so you hear less of them. Because we've all only got so much time, haven't we? So
yeah.
We can't follow everybody, and plus with a full-time job and stuff, it just makes it. Oh, what am I doing with my life? UFC fights last. Yay! Right, we're on it. Featherweight, heavyweight, yeah. So you got Chris. Yeah, what you said, yeah. Chris won, and Arlovski. Chris won, so with a 2 minutes in round 1 KO. Probably see that. I'd like to see, yeah, he probably want to fight him next.
Yeah, they've got a similar record,
well,
haven't they? Both. Well, it's 10 to 11 wins now, isn't it? And 2 and 3 losses, so they'll be quite a similar match compared to the other guy who lost. He's a bit of a veteran.
I hope he gets. Do you reckon Tom Aspinall will get the submission of the night? Because they'll get I'm sure they get like a 50k bonus.
Do they? I guess I've not watched all the fights, so I can't say. And I'd be surprised if the heavyweight has the best submission, considering it's like the least likely to go for a submission.
Yeah, there's no other submission, so it has to be submission of the night.
Oh. Go get yourself a cut for backing your boy.
Yeah, it must be because there's no other. I can't see any other. Everyone that's won that one's decision, but that's a middleweight. Heavyweight was a KO, so he'd probably get KO of the night. Oh no, can't even, will he? Because of fucking Derek Lewis, he'll probably get KO off the night. Same blast him twice as well. While he was knocked out.
Yeah, that was
knocked him out, and he just like stayed still, standing. even though he was knocked out, and he pushed him to the floor. The ref didn't stop it, so he just fucking dived on him. Bam, bam.
Those punches will have done some damage as well. Like they were gorilla kind of punches. And then afterwards, when he won, he goes and hits his chest and slams on the floor. Proper gorilla.
Proper. Well, I mean, I don't even think there was any bad blood between them either. So I think they might have been a little bit unnecessary. You know,
Yeah,
the two after, if you know he's knocked out.
Yeah, but if the ref doesn't break it at the right time, you know, you can't stop going. Well, you could turn to the ref and say, "Look at him," but you know, it only takes a second for him to come round and he could be back up. The ref hasn't called it.
Suppose so. As Jorge Masvidal will say, they were super necessary. Did you see that 5-second knockout he did against Ben Askren?
I think I might have done actually. Yeah.
Well, he hated Ben Askren, so he ran up. He ran up, boom, knocked him out with his first blast of a flying knee. And while he was knocked out on the floor, he was like, bam, bam, giving them big strikes. And when he was asked in his post-fight conference, one of the journalists turns around and goes, "Well, what was?" He goes, "Was the 2 punches after really necessary?" And he goes, "They were super necessary." And he goes, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, what do you mean were they necessary?" And he was like, "Well, he was already knocked out." And he goes, "Well, my job is to keep fighting until the ref stops me."
He's got a point though. Bad blood or not, you know, it's if the ref's not stopped it, it's not your job to decide when the fight's over. You know, it's your job to not get knocked out.
Poor Ben Askren, oh bloody hell! Do you know he was like undefeated until that moment as well? Nobody ever beaten him in like 30-odd fights or something.
Imagine going.
No, it went 30-odd. It was 19. I think it was 19. 19
Even so,
0.
Imagine going that far to be that your first knockout isn't even like a close round. It's just a knee to the face. Like,
and then he lost his next fight against Damian Maia. He got choked unconscious, so he lost touch with with reality both times. And then he thought this, I'm retiring.
Yeah, 2 fights too late by the sounds of it.
Well, yeah. Then while we're on about Ben Askren, what do you think of his fight with Jake Paul? Boxing?
Not fought him yet, has he?
No.
I was going to say, fight. When did this happen?
They're going to though. They're going to fight.
Oh, are they actually? But are you sure they're actually going to fight? Because Conor and Paul were going to fight.
I don't think Conor responded.
Oh no, he was saying get the money together, wasn't he?
I don't think. Did he actually say that? Yeah. I don't even think he.
Yeah, because that's why then Paul came back and started saying, like, here's the 50 mil and stuff, and obviously Conor lost, and he was like going, oh, I've got 10k for you or something like that. Stop laughing, he doesn't deserve the laugh.
It's so funny,
you can't fuel it. But oh yeah, I've just googled.
Who
so
do you
he
think wins that though?
I don't know anything about Ben Askren, and I'm saying he's going to win because I just despise Jake Paul to the point where he's not allowed to win another fight. He can't win. He can't go up against a professional MMA fighter.
Do you want to know my personal opinion? And then you're gonna hate me for saying this.
I'm hovering over the end call button. Go on.
I think I literally think Jake Paul's gonna win. You know
why?
Because, and here's the reason: if it was an MMA fight, I'm pretty confident Ben Askren would win.
What kind of fighter is he?
That's what I'm saying. He's a wrestler, and that's literally all he did.
Yeah, you know what? As frustrating as it is, I have always thought, like, obviously he's targeting these MMA fighters, and at his weight, most of them go to ground, and obviously a boxing match isn't on the ground.
Exactly. So you're taking away Ben Askren's best weapons Ben Askren's doing it for the money, really. Though I don't even think Ben Askren cares. He's
Yeah,
literally going into this fight. He's getting paid more for this fight than any other fight he's ever been in. More than what the UFC were paying him.
yeah.
So,
I don't blame him.
So I just feel like his heart's not there. He's just doing it for the money. Plus, then you're taking away his best offense.
And they'll be going in with the mindset that it's just going to be easy work because he's a professional fighter and Paul's just a YouTuber, a washed-up YouTuber at that. I think if you go on any of his videos, it's like people just go on just to dislike.
Really?
Literally, like, go. Actually, hang on. Whilst we're on it, I'll go on to his most recent video. And I'll tell you the like to dislike ratio.
Why is he so hated?
Well,
is he so hated? Or is it?
Yeah, he's despised now, except for his little 12-year-old followers that still love him. I can't load up the videos because it's work laptop and it's restricted. But so basically, obviously, do you remember the whole thing that happened with Logan Paul years ago when he was doing his vlogs and he went out into a forest?
Yeah.
You saw it, he filmed.
I only saw it on like some kind of news thing.
Yeah, I think the original was taken down pretty quick. But obviously filmed someone in the woods. We won't go into detail, but he got slated, and then that's where the polls kind of lost most of their credibility, from what I remember. I wasn't too keen on following it, but then from there, Logan kind of reinvented himself, and he's actually like a decent guy now, to be fair to him. But Jake Paul, he was in the protests for, like the BLM protests. He was out there just looting. He's been throwing parties during all the lockdowns, and there's a few other things. I think you'd have to get up to date with it, but he's just a very hated person. Obviously, I'm quite a big fan of KSI, and there is a ton of bad blood between KSI, his family,
Jake.
and Jake, and the Pauls as a family.
Who do you reckon wins that boxing match, KSI or take your feelings towards Paul and KSI out of it? Skill for skill, who do you reckon wins?
Well, right. So I'm going to say KSI, but the only reason I'm saying that is because KSI handled himself against Logan, and I just think Jake Paul is just a shadow of Logan anyway. I think that Logan's got height, strength, and everything on top of it. If you remember the original fight with, I might be wrong here, I'm pretty sure I'm not, but you had KSI and Logan as like the sort of main YouTube event, and you had Deji, KSI's brother, and Jake Paul in a fight, and obviously, so it's the kind of the two brothers of each, and that was because KSI and Logan were the better of the two, stronger, the bigger, and then you had the smaller brothers fighting. I just feel like if KSI can take Logan Paul, he can take Jake Paul a lot easier. But then at the same time, I'm as much as a fan of KSI I am, taking away what you're saying, like take away emotion. I think he needs to improve on his fighting. His main, you see it all the time, he throws these big wild hooks which come straight arm from behind his body coming round. If it lands, I'm sure it'll do some damage, but it's seen from a mile away, and it's not. I don't think it's that professional that he needs.
No, yeah, I wasn't really impressed with his boxing. I think Jake Paul wins it though. I don't want to be controversial. But,
no, I mean, well, you do. I'm hoping he doesn't, but
I feel like not against Askren, although I do think Jake Paul beats Askren, to be honest with you as well. I mean, it's not what I want. What I want is Ben Askren to just knock him out and just embarrass him. But I think Jake Paul have you seen videos of him training and stuff like that and in pads?
Yeah, not a lot though, to be fair. But I have watched, and it does look quite impressive. But every fighter that releases videos of them hitting pads looks impressive.
Yeah, but then look at Ben Askren's video with him.
Is it bad?
Yeah, it's not the best.
I just don't want.
I don't know if he's trolling or whatever, or taking piss.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case because I just can't take Jake getting another ego boost. Someone needs to put him in his place because he's walking around like he's this top dog, you know, calling out big names, and he's just not got. I don't think he's got the right to be doing it.
Dylan Dennis, didn't he, as well?
I think so, yeah.
And he's like a jiu-jitsu practitioner, not a striker. And he's calling out grapplers. He knows what he's doing. He's calling out grapplers.
Yeah, you can see his game plan. He's building his name in the industry.
Can't go against other boxers because they'll just annihilate. And they've been doing boxing for like since 3 years old or whatever. And they're like, whatever. So he's not going to do well against boxers because he's quite new to boxing into.
Yeah, they all are. The whole YouTube boxing scene. I can't give it an exact date, but you know, it's only been a few years that they've really been getting into it.
Was it KSI won it first once?
Well, it depends on which scene of YouTube you're on about because there's like different. Obviously, you've got KSI, the Sidemen, the Pauls, and then there's quite a few others in that sort of area of YouTube where they'll kind of know each other. But then you've got other ones that have come into YouTube that are doing like vlogs and stuff, but they've been boxing since they were young. So I wouldn't count them as YouTube boxers because I think it's more
because they were boxers before YouTube, sort of.
Exactly, yeah. So they grew their fame whilst doing boxing on the side, and like the videos don't necessarily relate. I can only think of the one. It's like JD Vlogs or something. Yeah, it's like Josh something. He's quite a good fighter as well, but then his YouTube channel is all about him and his fiance. So yeah, but
so it is clever what he's doing. He's calling out like MMA fighters and that. I so wanted that Michael Bisping one to happen. I so wanted it to happen. I think Michael Bisping wouldn't. I think he is the one that would annihilate him.
I want to see it happen. Like I'll pay to watch that as well.
Because he was predominantly a striker. Like he's like the. I mean, he's retired. And he's only got one eye.
That's why Jake called him out then.
Yeah, but I still think I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty. Like if I was a betting man, if I was a gambling man, all my money would be. All my life savings would be on Michael Bisping knocking out Jake Paul with quite ease, with relative ease, because Michael Bisping was tough as well. He weren't just a good striker. He was tough. He was hard to beat. Do you know what I mean? He did get knocked out, but you know, you had to knock him out. Do you know what I mean? If he had an ounce of alertness in him, he was coming back.
Yeah,
He was a great fighter to watch.
Have you talking of the polls and stuff? There was another fight that was meant to happen yesterday that didn't. The Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather was scheduled to be on the 20th of Feb, and it's not happened. And apparently, it's not going to happen anymore on that date anyway. Oh, you've gone quiet.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. But there's an echo, so plug back in.
It's only while I'm going for a wee. Go on. You tell me the things so I can still hear
you. It's probably best to wait because my voice is echoing through your mic.
Who do you reckon would have won that then?
Yeah, we'll wait because my voice is echoing.
Oh, your voice is echoing?
Yeah.
It's not echoing my side though, so it probably won't be echoing on the recording.
Nah, we'll wait a sec. We'll just listen to you go into the toilet.
I'm pretty sure people don't watch us for our professionalism.
You back?
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, there we go. You sound much better too. So I'll probably cut that bit out as well. Maybe not. We'll see.
I'll leave it in. They all want to see me go for a piss.
We all do. That's what we live for. But yeah, so apparently the fight's not going ahead due to business complications, in quotes, on Logan Paul's side. But again,
you'd have to pay him a lot to get knocked out by Floyd, because it goes back to the thing what we were saying. He's calling out grapplers because because they've not been boxing all their lives. So the fact that he's calling out Floyd Mayweather, who's been boxing all his life, it doesn't make sense at all.
This is Logan though. He's not been calling out the grapplers, has he?
Oh right, sorry.
Logan Paul.
I don't know the difference between the Paul brothers. I'll be honest with you. They're both just Jake Paul. Both begin with J. They're both Paul. Both look the same.
Logan doesn't begin with J.
Oh, it doesn't, does it?
It's a backwards J, I guess. A squeeze. But all right then.
Yeah, squeeze. Thanks, brother. Man's got me back.
But yeah, they're both the same to me. They're both blonde. They're both frustrating and annoying, and just need to stop. But no, I can't see him winning against Mayweather. Obviously, he's done it probably because of the height difference and the reach difference, because he's got a lot on top of Mayweather. But I don't think it's enough.
No, he's got youth on his side. But Mayweather's just. I'm pretty sure Mayweather would annihilate him, no matter how big he is. If he's only been boxing for what?
A few years.
How many years are we talking? Are we talking 6? Is that?
I was thinking more like 3 or 4.
That's what I mean. I'm pretty sure Mayweather's, he's built his career on not being hit as well. So how can Paul even hit him?
Yeah. What's his win record as well? Is it like 50 or something to 0 losses?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's just no way.
The only thing is he's getting old. It's the old where is he in his career? But he's prolonged his career by living like a good life in between his fights. Do you know what I mean? He never drinks, proper disciplined.
Yeah.
Never gets out of shape.
Yeah, so it's wonder, has he let himself go since? Because he basically retired, didn't he?
That's what I'm saying. Even though he keeps retiring, he doesn't actually stop and let himself go. He keeps training. He's basically constantly in shape.
I would like to see a fight night that involves both the Paul brothers, with Mayweather there and a fighter equivalent to Jake Paul. There's a boxer. I'd love to see him actually fight someone who fights that sort of fight.
Here's one for you. Who do you think wins out of Paul and Jake?
You mean Logan Paul, I'm guessing.
You tell us don't follow them.
But I'd say. What are you doing? You fine? Stop faffing.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Well, I can't see me. Oh, there you are. Right, naff that off. Right, there you go. Hi, welcome back. You never went anywhere.
We were here the whole time. I'd say Logan.
Do you really? See,
Yeah.
I think Jake's the better boxer. Just going off their records, he's got a draw and a loss.
I don't think you can go off the records though, because some of Jake Paul's wins are against. Well, one of them's against Deji.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really count because Deji's not a fighter. At all.
He's a YouTube rapper, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's just another YouTube. And obviously the draw that Logan had was with KSI, who's again a YouTuber, and then the loss was again, KSI. I don't think you should use that to judge their overall ability.
It's got to be a factor, though, isn't it? You look at the record. You have to when the bookies would look at his record when coming up with the odds. So you got to look at it a little bit.
Yeah, you probably would, and it'd probably sweeten the deal for when I'm putting my 500 quid on Logan.
That'd be a good enough. I wonder if they would fight each other though. I don't think they would really. Shouldn't do, should they?
No, I can't see that happening. It'd be like a civil war sort of thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, but they've got. I don't think there's any bad blood between them two.
Who's the more popular brother? Or subs on YouTube?
Logan, I think. Maybe. Logan's been into like acting and everything, though, hasn't he? He's been in like films and stuff.
You're joking?
I wouldn't say good films, but he has been in them nonetheless.
Consider me
Logan's.
impressed.
Yeah, I can't even remember the film. I saw it on Facebook again. But Logan's got 22.8 mil, and
that's a lot, that, isn't it? I'm surprised he's
Yeah.
not got more. I'm sure he had about that when I checked in on him a few years ago when he was doing the boxing.
yeah, Jake's got 20.3. But again, Jake's YouTube channel's dying because I exaggerated a bit with the likes and dislikes. I think the likes still get over the dislikes, but there was a time when they weren't. But they are very similar. Like we're talking, he'll be getting 50k likes and 45k dislikes. And it's literally just people coming on to dislike and then clear their search history. Don't want anything to do with him.
Clear the search history.
It's a joke.
like you just fucking knock one out over midget porn or something. As I like to call it, porn.
Yeah, for you, it's just the same. But yeah, I think Logan lost a lot of his subscribers as well. I think his channel got taken down for a little while, actually. He lost his channel after doing what he did. I'm sure he did, but then obviously he got it back. But I'm sure a lot of people took away the subscribe. But you can't judge someone on their history forever. Like, if they do one bad thing.
Exactly. Everyone makes mistakes, don't they? And I can relate. Yeah, everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes you even if you make the mistake, you might not be that person. You just had a moment of madness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things on YouTube and the sort of industry where you've got to be so careful about what you say, and it takes the tiniest thing to get you cancelled. I think it's wrong in a way. Obviously, what he did was quite extreme. Recording, what he recorded, you shouldn't do that, and it is really disrespectful. But at the same time, it's like, he didn't post it by accident because he didn't think it was going to have that much of an uproar. But as soon as the internet doesn't like something, that's it. You're game over. It's one a bit off topic. You probably haven't even heard of the guy, but there's a guy called James Charles. No,
Correct, I've not heard of him.
He's basically a YouTuber. He's a guy that does makeup and stuff like that. He's got quite a is it wrong to say feminine channel? I'm sure he's never going to see it.
So he's a guy that does. He's a guy that does makeup.
He's a very feminine guy. I don't actually know if he's like gay or not.
Is he actually
I think so. But I'm not sure.
No.
But he did a video on what it's like. It's like being pregnant for 24 hours, and he got like a baby bump thing put on his stomach, and he went to like a professional photo shoot and stuff like that. So he's doing like what it's like to be pregnant, having the belly and all that stuff. And then the internet just kicked off like crazy, saying he's vile and disgusting because there's women out there who want to get pregnant and can't. How unfair is that?
That's not. What's that got to do with him?
Exactly. I think all he's doing is, a trend, trying to be pregnant for 24 hours, what it's like. People do it for like not eating food and, being homeless for 24 hours or 48 hours or something like that. People don't kick off about that. You know, they're just highlighting like the issue. It's all light-hearted stuff. But you know, as soon as the internet says no,
fucking people are so fucking sensitive, you know.
yeah, I think the term's snowflake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bunch of snowflakes.
I just don't. Bunch of Karens.
Exactly.
How unfortunate is it if you was named Karen?
Yeah, it's stereotype straight away, especially if you've got blonde hair and it's cut into a bob.
Ah!
You just couldn't do it.
I can't believe it. Yeah, but if you're a nice person and you call Karen, do you know what I mean? But that name's got that stigma now.
It does. Just get your name changed.
I know exactly.
But yeah, I think we got off the UFC chat a little bit in the boxing. Went on to baby bumps. So we'll tie it back in. So going back all the way back, Tom Aspinall.
Hang on a second, I've got someone bloody knocking me. 1 minute. Just talking there, give us a thing.
No, I'm going to sit and wait.
Sick. Do you hear that then?
No,
He sees right there. It says, "I'm on the telly."
Right, we'll wrap things up. We're coming to the end anyway, and I think we've just about covered everything we wanted to cover. So,
what was your finishing thoughts on Tom Aspinall? I missed it because I was.
Yeah, I was going to say, who do you want to see him fight next, and do you think he's going to keep going down the same route of first round finisher, failing that second round, take to the floor?
Well, that's just what makes him so great. That's why he's going to be a champion. He's got so many tools to his arsenal. He's got so many arrows for his bow. He can just if he can pick and choose what he wants to do. If he prefers to stand and bang, then that's what he'll do. But then as soon as he comes against an elite striker, even though he is an elite striker, but once he comes against someone that he could easily just take them down and implement his grappling.
Can see him going a long way for sure.
I think the best thing to do though is what he's doing. Don't rush. I mean, who would I like to see him fight? I'd like to see him fight Stipe and fucking become the champion. But I think what he's doing is much better. Just get fights that's with people that's on your level in terms of rankings.
Yeah, just go for that slightly better each time.
Yeah, work his way up, and then in a couple of years, he'll just naturally be there and in the talk.
Yeah,
I think he's he just wants experience, which is good. He's missed out on amateur experience. He's missed out on before he's pro. Even though he's been a pro, how many fights he's only had about 10 fights, hasn't he? Or is it 9? Is it 11 now?
It's 12 now, I think.
Is it 12 now?
He was 9 for 2 before that fight, so.
Oh right, okay.
So it'll be 10 for 2.
10 for 2. So okay, so he's had 12 fights. And I think only he's a yeah. I think that's all he's a victim of his own success, isn't he? So yeah, I'd like to see him just progress slowly. Because I mean, if you look at what happened with Darren Till, they sort of they elevated his career before his time, and he's ended up getting knocked out. He got knocked out in a. Who was that by? He got knocked out by Tyron Woodley. I think that was his first loss. I don't know if you can Google his record or not and try and. But I'm saying Darren Till because Darren Till trains under the same training camp as Tom Aspinall in Liverpool.
Darren Till record. Don't know how up to date it is. So 18 wins, 3 losses, and is that 1 draw?
3 losses and a draw.
18 wins, 3 losses, and a draw.
That's not a bad record, to be fair, that is it? But see how he's got. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I suppose they didn't rush him as much as quick as what I thought. Although I think it would have been better for him to climb the ladders a bit slower than what he did.
He's got quite the name. The Gorilla.
Gorilla, yeah. The Gorilla Darren Till. Because he lost his last fight, didn't he? He's lost his last fight against Robert Whittaker, but again, he's fighting ex-champions. He never got the chance to, come up a bit slower. I think he would have liked to have cleared out the division. Yeah,
I think that's what fighters should be doing. They should not be jumping too soon.
Obviously, Michael Bisping, he was retiring, so I think Dana White just wanted another British champion and push for it. Pushed him that bit too soon. But again, Darren Till's coming out to hurt you, so you can't put him against. He's coming out to hurt you, so you can't put him against someone that can't defend themselves.
That's how it goes. I think that's the same for every fight.
So he's going to be constantly fighting champions, or ex-champions, or until he becomes champion. He probably will be a champion one day, but I'll see how it goes. All right, then. Yeah, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, we'll call it a day.
We treated everybody to a second one this.
Yeah, it's going to be
week.
2 in 1 week. Just imagine the excitement.
We're going to be causing floods with all the girls that are dripping.
Get the wet floor signs out. Right
then.
So,
great.
Yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe. That's what they say. Drop us anything you want us to talk about. We'll give it a crack.
A couple of fan questions. I might post it on my Insta because I've got quite the Insta. I might put it on. Saying,
all your 10 followers might join.
6. Yeah. I'll post it on there, see if we can get some fan questions. Some fun questions. How fucking arrogant am I? Supporter questions.
That'll do it.
All right, everyone. Right, I've got an outro. Do you want to give an outro speech?
Well, I'm pretty sure the music's probably just about to start playing now. Yeah, it's going to start building up a bit. And then in about 3 seconds we'll say peace. Ready? 1, 2, 3.